Good morning, everybody. It looks like I have a filter on. I think my phone is just dirty. I am going to double dip a little bit today because I'm late for work and I'm moderating the Fab 50 group this week, and it's day 2 of our Finding Food Freedom group. So I wanted to talk about some things that I thought could cross over to both of them. And I think this stuff doesn't matter whether you're on Whole30, you're in reintroduction, or you're in your food freedom. And that is fear. Let's just start with fear. So I've been talking to a lot of people in my DMs, and I keep hearing the words sugar addict, food binging, sabotaging, things of that nature. I think you understand where I'm going with this, right? Basically feeling out of control. And I am not a therapist. Dr. Vicky is, which is why I wanted to pair up with her in the Finding Food Freedom group, because we're going to dive a little deeper into the mindset portion. But I want you to understand that it doesn't matter what you abuse. It doesn't matter if it's sugar. It doesn't matter if you eat too much. It doesn't matter if it's just food in general. It doesn't matter if it's alcohol or drugs or exercise or fill in whatever your blank is. You are trying to numb yourself from fear. And it might be stress. It might be feeling inadequate. In the case of self-sabotage, it might be because you just don't feel like you're good enough. Imposter syndrome. These are all very, very big topics. But what it boils down to is the way you talk to yourself. So for today, I have some homework for you, and it doesn't require very much because we're all very busy. I got alfalfa hair again today. I'm gonna go get blondified today. So the homework is, I want you to just listen to your thoughts. In Project Healthy Body, it's called your negative roommate. And it's that not nice voice that talks to you when you go to the refrigerator and it says, you don't need anything in here, fatso. Or when you're at work and why would they pick my project? Or maybe your husband leaves out a dish. And it's, why doesn't he love me enough to pick up a dish? Things of this nature, right? So, all I want you to do today, if you get a chance, I'd love for you to write it down. But if you can't do that, I really want you to just listen to how you talk to yourself. I figured out several years ago, probably more than several, but that I would never speak to anyone the way I speak to myself. I am so hard on myself. You got to get this done, you got to do that. What makes you think you're not good enough? Or what makes you, especially in Whole30 coaching, there's so many fabulous people that sometimes you can just think to yourself, okay, well, they're way better than me. But I have learned to gravitate towards those people because maybe they can teach me something. So I want you to, just for today, listen to your negative roommate. Listen and hear what that voice is saying. And if it's cheering you on, you're over the hill. But if it's all the negativity, you're not good enough, why do you think you can do this, so on and so forth, I really want you to sit with that and ask why these thoughts are coming up. And I was working with one of my clients, and we started talking about this, and she said she hadn't felt worthy since she was in like 3rd grade. And so we basically started deconstructing that and what made her feel that way, and how can she work forward from there. How can she, as an adult, think about what happened then and recreate a life that's just full of happiness and worth. So there's going to be a lot of why questions. Why? But for today, let's just acknowledge how we speak to ourselves and just figure that portion out, because everybody thinks Whole30 and reintroduction and food freedom are all about food. They're not about food. They are completely about your relationship with food. And you've heard Melissa say that time and time again. It's about what you do to self-soothe. So if you've always turned to food when you're stressed, or you're angry, or you're tired, or maybe you go for the wine, or a cocktail, or whatever it is, you need to find something you love that's easy to do, that will make you feel better when you're done. Going for a walk sounds really stupid, but when you can get out in nature and just movement always makes me feel better. I went through a period in my life that was very, very hard on me. In the recession, I had a salon and spa with a bazillion people, employees, and it was failing because businesses failed then. But I was supposed to be smarter than the average bear, and I was supposed to be all these things. And I cried for 3 weeks straight, and I'm not a crier. And my dad finally looked at me and he's like, "Are you ever gonna stop crying?" And I finally did. But I will tell you what made me feel better. I was a cyclist at the time, and I would take my bike to work. And if somebody canceled, I would get on my bike, and even if I could just ride for 30 minutes, it would clear my head. I would feel better, not so anxious. And that worked for me. And I'm not saying that exercise is it for you, but you need to find something that makes you feel better than something that is not nutritious or is not good for you or isn't in your highest interest. There's sex addicts for the same reason. They crave intimacy. And quite honestly, sometimes that's what we crave with, I know that I've made love to some ice cream. I have definitely made love to ice cream before, so I'm trying to lighten this up a little bit, but you have to figure out what makes you tick. And until you're ready to do that hard work, you are not going to get ahead. It's hard work, it's annoying, it's depressing at times to think you've wasted all this time, but if you start today, think of where you'll be in a month. Think of where you'll be in 6 months. Think of how effing healthy you will be next year at Thanksgiving. So this is a big, deep conversation. Feel free to share in the comments. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to email me if you've got a long story at letschat@motivateme.love. But this is work that needs to be done. And for the Finding Food Freedom group, Dr. Vicki and I are here for you for this particular reason. And if you want to be anonymous, you can send me your story, and maybe I can post it without putting your name up, but it would be lovely if we can all, I can post it anonymously, obviously, but it would be lovely if we could all talk about this, because we'll all grow so much. I am really looking forward to this group because I think it's going to be groundbreaking. Sorry for breathing so hard. I worked out, I ran around the house, did a bunch of laundry from my trip, and now I'm out here walking with the pups and got to go to work. So, breathing heavy. All right, so if you've stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. We were watching This Is Us the other night, and I don't know if any of you watch it, but it's one of my favorite programs. I love all the characters, but in this particular one, Randall was telling his daughter about his panic attacks and his anxiety. And she's a teenager, and she just started having a panic attack. They had to go get her from school, and Beth, the wife, pulled them both down into the kitchen and talked to them about the anxiety. And I thought this was so fabulous for Whole30, because she pulled out a LaCroix. And you know me, I was like, yeah, LaCroix, because they're so good to our Whole30 community. And she told them, it was so cute, and I think it's something that could really work in everybody's life here. When you're feeling anxious, get a glass, get some ice, pour the LaCroix in it, and breathe. And don't do anything but breathe until the bubbles have settled. Isn't that nice? We all have LaCroix because we're all Whole30ers, or whatever, bubbly or Waterloo or whatever your seltzer of choice is. But you know what? When you get home and you're tired and you want to grab the first thing that's in the refrigerator, maybe what you do is you grab a LaCroix and you sit and you watch the bubbles settle. And you sit and you just breathe and you think about your next move. If you're at work and somebody ticks you off, let me make sure there's no alligators in here. Somebody ticks you off, go to the refrigerator, grab a LaCroix, pour it, and wait for the bubbles to settle. That might be my new mantra. I'm going to wait for the bubbles to settle. Excuse me, ma'am. She just ran into me all wet and dirty. Go. I don't want you. You're disgusting. Anyway, so thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And let's talk, okay? DM me, put some comments here, or email me at letschat, LETSCHAT @motivateme.love. Love you guys.